We are back at Miller Motorsports Park. Under caution, coverage of the SunridgeGourmet.com 1000 weekend, the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Elliot, while we're under caution, let's take a look at some of that action on lap number 1. Now, the first look we'll have is right after the cars cleared turn 1. A couple of cars got way outside off course. Let's take a look.
Yeah, they missed the course. But what happened was that up front there, it looks like there was some contact, and somebody ran off the road here. And yeah, here we get a good look at it coming up in here, moving over, and there's no room. There's absolutely no room there. Just tagged him a little bit, and around they go. But you know, there's just nothing you can do about a situation like that. That's just a racing incident.
Brad McAllister being towed off the racetrack. He had stopped on course. Now, later that same lap, Eric Foss and Todd Burris got together.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. It was Eric Foss that got in there. But again, this is a triple apex corner, and it's real easy to tuck yourself underneath somebody there and have that happen.
And, of course, all that contact, later on, some of these under tray panels, some of the crush panels and things like that tend to break and get knocked out of these cars because of the suspension travel, I'm guessing, when they go over bumps and things. Now, before we go green, let's check in downstairs. Rob Albright on pit road.
Tony, pre-race Brad Rampelberg told us that he didn't expect to be leading going into turn number 1, and I'll tell you, he was a bit of a prophet. What happened?
Not quite sure. I've been talking on the radio. He really doesn't know what happened. Went into 1 and basically just got bum rushed through there. He's being careful. We've lost cars in that turn before, so just a little careful. We'll make it up during the race.
Well, Brad Rampelberg restarts 4th. Green is back in the air. Robert Huffmaster, the restart leader. 2nd spot is Ryan Shims. Belonging to 3rd is the 11 car, Aaron Malkasian. And here comes Foss on the inside as they head toward turn 1. Now let's get on board the Alara Racing 11 car, Aaron Malkasian's machine. Elliot, what a view down into 1 here.
Yeah, it is. And this is a corner that is a late apex corner, and everybody's going to shoot out from the outside. But you can see how he's able to tuck in the inside, get it. But he has to be careful now, because as you get to the next corner here, it's a right-hander, and you can still have that guy on the outside. He'll have this corner.
Malkasian side by side. Oh, man. It looks like the onboard took a hit there. Malkasian trying to race his way by Ryan Shims for 2nd spot. He's got it for now. 4th spot belongs to Rampelberg. Then Foss is in 5th.
Now they're coming down, getting that big run coming into 5 where they can try and outbrake somebody going into the hairpin here.
Of course, here at Miller Motorsports Park, a relatively new racetrack, 4.4 miles around. They're trying hard to grow grass around this track, but really what you've got is a lot of dirt right off the racing surface.
Yeah, if you drop a wheel here, it throws a lot of dirt and rocks up. There's no doubt about it, but it does make a lot of side-by-side racing here.
Shims in the 81, the winner at Road America. Rampelberg in the 14. They're side-by-side for 3rd.
A little touch coming off of there. The next corner is a left-hander, which leaves Rampelberg on the inside for this corner, though.
Eric Foss, the championship leader, back there in 5th. Shims gets bumped off line a little bit. Lot of contact here in the early going at Miller Motorsports Park. This is one of those tracks that really seems to invite that.
Well, it does. With the corners, you have to be very careful entering corners, because if you get in too fast, at decreasing radius, you can't get off the corner, and somebody will go by you on the next straight because you don't get the exit speed you need. Very important to get that exit speed here.
Battling for the lead. Huffmaster's out in front. Malkasian in 2nd. Rampelberg is now 3rd. Ryan Shims shuffled back to 4th. There is Foss in 5th. Todd Burris way back at this point. Jenkins back there in 6th. So a lot of battles all over the racetrack.
Yeah, they are. And this track here, we talked about it being hard to pass, and it is. There's only a few places that you can get by somebody here.
Well, Eric Foss has a lot on his plate with 3 races to go. Before the start, Rob talked to him about the points lead.
Eric Foss, the only multiple winner this season in the Mazda MX-5 Cup Series. Eric, are you going to go for the gold right at the beginning of this race, or kind of see how the race plays out and be a little more patient in the early going?
I think we've seen all year, all these races, especially tracks like this. Miller's a long track. There's going to be a lot of drafting going on. It's going to be hanging with your teammates, working well together. It's 3 MER cars working together. The 2 Hoover Speed cars are going to be there. Aura's there also. So we'll see. It's going to probably take a few laps to play out, but we're going to stick in there, need some points to just continue where we've been going, and hopefully we'll have a good finish for Team MER.
I don't think there's as much drafting going on here as he thinks. You know, you get drafting down the front straightaway, but on the other places, if you don't get the shot off the corner, there is no way you're going by with just a draft. It's not going to happen at this racetrack.
So it's more about exit speed than anything else here.
Well, it really is. If you can get off the corners well, and the other guy makes a little mistake, but you almost have to have the other person make a mistake because the straightaways aren't long enough to make up the distance just by drafting.
And of course, the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup, part of the Mazda Motorsports driving development ladder. It's a spec series. Everyone's on the same tires. They're running the same sealed motors and a lot of the same technology team to team. It's really all about driver skill and car setup and preference and that sort of thing. So that makes passing even more challenging here. Here's a bump draft for third. Shims in the 81, the red and white car. Brad Rampelberg in that blue and white 14, nose to tail, heading toward 1.
Yeah, and Rampelberg is actually a little bit too close to get the pull out of the draft and pass him into 1, because you got to have a run on somebody to get that happen. I think what he's trying to do right now is push them both up to the leaders again, because they're starting to lose out on Malkasian running there second in front of him.
Kind of like running at Talladega, you want to lock in behind a car. Two cars can go faster on that front straightaway, I'm assuming.
That is correct, and that allows you to catch back up. And you've seen they're closing the gap now on Malkasian here, and then that lets them run for the lead rather than just dicing for third place.
One of the short straightaways here at Miller Motorsports Park, 23 turns. It's a really interesting layout, what they built here in just a few short years since this track was first created and opened. And it's a great spectator facility, top-notch facilities all over. Wonderful garages, spectator areas, and so forth. And the course is like nothing I've ever seen before. And here's that battle for third raging. Shims again getting a lot of pressure from Rampelberg.
Yeah, they're racing very close, touching once in a while, but nothing that's going to put somebody out. But as you say, it is probably the premier facility in the country. It has the best of everything at Miller.
And with the mountain backdrop around here, it's just an amazing place to come and see for the first time. About 35 miles or so west of Salt Lake City. Very, very interesting layout. Battle for third rages on. Ryan Shims in the Airco car. That's the red and white 81 in front of Brad Rampelberg, one of the main championship contenders this year in his blue and white 14 car. Top 2, meantime, start to stretch it out just a little bit more. Continues to be Robert Huffmaster in the lead. Now, we think of him as kind of a wet weather maestro after what he accomplished at Motorsport early in the year. Great run for him in the dry this day.
Yeah, he had a great race up there, and then he's had a couple races that weren't quite as good.
Still early in the going here at Miller Motorsports Park, the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Huffmaster leads Malkasian and Shims. We'll be back.